Welcome, ghouls, to today's episode of Mental Health is Horrifying. I'm your horror Barbie host of darkness, Candace Green, psychotherapist and all-around spooky bitch, podcasting from my bat-filled cave in Toronto, Canada. As the weather gets colder and the holiday season comes closer, I always think about the ballet. I love going out to the ballet at Christmas time, and in the winter in particular. Something about going into a beautiful, cozy theater when it's cold and bleak outside really helps me to chase the winter blues away. Except, have you ever wondered what it's like for the dancers? Here we are, seeking out warmth and comfort at a chilly time of year, and it's their job to provide that to us with grace, beauty, and a smile. But what is it really like for them? Today, we're diving into Black Swan because it showcases the violence of perfectionism so well. Director Darren Aronofsky is known for his visceral filmmaking and body horror, and this approach is perfect for exploring the horrifying performance of trying to achieve perfection that women dance with throughout our lives. Okay, let's get right into it. Let's check out Black Swan and his portrayal of perfectionism.
I had the craziest dream last night about a girl who was turned into a swan, but her prince falls for the wrong girl and she kills herself. He promised to feature me more this season.
Well, he should. You've been there long enough. And you're the most dedicated dancer in the company.
Our new swan queen, the exquisite Nina Sayers.
I'm Lily. You're gonna be amazing.
Watch the way she moves. Sensual. She's not faking it.
Seduces! Attack it! Attack it! Come on!
Where'd you get these?
It's nothing.
You sweet girl.
Feel my touch. Respond to it.
Is someone's hot for teacher?
I don't want to talk about that.
We really need to relax.
It's the role, isn't it? It's all this pressure. I knew it'd be too much. I knew it.
What's she doing here? He made me your alternate.
The only person standing in your way is you.
How do you know where I live?
I have my ways.
She's after me.
Nobody's after you.
Please believe me.
Sweet girl. Sweet girl. What happened to my sweet girl?
She's gone!
Nina Sayers, a young dancer with the New York City Ballet, lives with her intense mother, Erica, a former ballerina. The company is opening the season with Tchaikovsky's Swan Lake. After forcing the current prima ballerina, Beth, into retirement, artistic director Thomas Leroy announces he is looking for a new dancer for the dual roles of the innocent and fragile White Swan and the sensual and dark Black Swan. Nina auditions and gives a flawless performance as the White Swan, but fails to embody the Black Swan, causing Thomas to dismiss her. The next day, Nina asks Thomas to reconsider. He forcibly kisses her and she bites him and runs out of his office. Later, Nina is surprised to find she has received the lead role. At a gala celebrating the new season, an intoxicated Beth publicly accuses Nina of providing sexual favors to Thomas in return for the role. The next day, Nina hears Beth has been hit by a car. Thomas believes she was attempting suicide. Nina visits Beth in the hospital and is distraught to see her injured legs. It is clear she will never dance again. During rehearsals, Thomas tells Nina to observe a newcomer, Lily, who has a physical resemblance to Nina, but also an uninhibited quality that Nina lacks. Nina becomes obsessed with Lily and is consumed by jealousy, believing Lily to be coming for her role and to embody everything she cannot for the role of the Black Swan. Nina begins to hallucinate, imagining her body to be transforming into that of a swan. The stress of trying to embody the dual roles for the ballet is consuming her, causing her to separate from reality. On the night of the big performance, Nina hallucinates and imagines that she stabs Lily with a shard of glass, killing her. Nina realizes that she has imagined the whole thing and that she actually stabbed herself. The final act ends with Nina dying at the end of Swan Lake, saying, "I felt it. Perfect. It was perfect." Swan Lake, composed by Tchaikovsky, heavily mirrors Tchaikovsky's own internal struggle with his repressed homosexuality. A tale about duality, the white swan symbolizes purity and innocence, while the black swan represents social danger. These themes closely represent his internal double life, a white external personal and a dark hidden truth. The white swan is cursed, trapped in a body not truly her own. This character is often described as Tchaikovsky's disgust with himself, his shame, and the fear that he is monstrous. The movie explores themes of female duality and the pursuit of impossible ideals. It is so well cast, especially the role of aged-out prima ballerina Beth McIntyre, who is played by Winona Ryder. This role was cathartic for her to play, as she was in her late 30s and told Forbes magazine, "I'm at that age I've been warned my whole life about. The scary age for women when we are told that our biological clock is running out, our beauty is fading, and we have to make the most of ourselves as quickly as we can, because our worth is diminishing," which is of course misogynistic garbage. Winona loved the opportunity to play a woman of a certain age in Black Swan, having been previously cast as playing younger, relentlessly youthful ingenues. Playing Beth was an acknowledgement of aging and what society does to women, casting them out and making them feel worthless. Darren Aronofsky is known for his visceral body horror, and Black Swan is no exception. Winona delivers a horrifyingly physical performance, both in emotion and body horror. Of course, Natalie Portman underwent extensive and brutal ballet training to portray the violence of womanhood, and you can really feel everybody's performances deep in your bones. Perfectionism is like climbing a mountain that spontaneously sprouts more peaks, peaks that are higher and larger, and the peaks also have increasingly difficult obstacles for you to overcome, like on American Ninja Warrior. And damned if you don't dominate these spontaneous American Ninja Warrior mountain peaks. Somehow you dig deep and find a way to climb, spelunk, swing, and log run up this evidently never-ending mountain in record time, while your hair looks amazing, and you have dinner gently roasting in the oven. Perfectionism is when you impose extremely high or actually impossible standards on yourself, far beyond what is reasonably required by the situation. Perfectionism can actually be considered a sort of cousin to imposter syndrome because it is deeply rooted in shame and pervasive feelings of not being good enough, and therefore attempting to move heaven and earth to prove to yourself and others that you are indeed good enough. Perfectionists often find themselves in an imposter cycle, which is characterized by a cyclical behavioral pattern fueled by self-doubt, where the imposter engages in a sort of choose-your-own-adventure game of imposter syndrome, where they can select the first path, which is procrastination, or the second path, which is over-preparation. Procrastination is an attempt to delay the horrific discomfort associated with the perfectionist realizing their own humanity. To attempt a task or project only to realize that they are not perfect at it is soul-crushing. So the perfectionist will begin rearranging all the books on their shelf in reverse alphabetical order instead of doing their taxes. In cases of over-preparation, the perfectionist will put in an inordinate amount of time and effort to get something ready, like way more time and effort than is necessary. Let's use a seasonal example. If you are a perfectionist who over-prepares and you are asked to bring something to your daughter's school holiday bake sale, you will stay up for 3 nights straight researching the percentage of kids who have gluten, dairy, and nut allergies, along with the percentage of people who are vegan, and cross-reference that with the number of kids in your daughter's class so that you can create 4 separate categories of holiday treats to accommodate each foreseeable dietary concern. You will then purchase 2 of Pierre Hermé's cookbooks, aka the Picasso of pastry, so that you can study how to make the lightest but richest choux pastry and dazzle the 3rd grade with at least 2 croquembouche towers. The tops of the towers will enchant onlookers with motorized light snow flurries made out of cascading powdered sugar. And this will all be choreographed to Carol of the Bells as arranged in the 1990 holiday classic, Home Alone. In Black Swan, Nina's version of this, upon getting the lead role in Swan Lake, is that she starts staying at the ballet studio so late that she has to perpetually remind the maintenance staff to turn the lights back on. Even after the studio has turned off all its lights and she is forced to go home, she makes sure that her entire home is only decorated with ballet-adjacent decor, lest she get distracted. She can't even celebrate this huge achievement with a piece of cake, because this is all about control and restriction, and cake is about indulgence and sprinkles. She gets up early and practices more ballet in her home before the studio opens. She thinks about this role and the other girls vying for what she has and how she can be better, so much so that it occupies her entire mind, and she begins projecting visions of herself and her own insecurities throughout the city of New York. She pushes her body and mind way past the point of what is healthy or it can tolerate. So much so that her already intense and obsessive mother is the one to actually point out, "You're sick, this role is destroying you." And man, if she's saying that, it's gotta be bad. As you either know or can imagine, this is an exhausting way to live, and it can be even harder to spot from the outside because perfectionists are like covert agents who are highly adept at concealing the deeper anxieties and feelings of low self-worth that drive their perfectionism in the first place. What those on the receiving end of a ballet performance see is a timeless and beautiful ballet. But what they don't see are the sleepless nights, the self-doubt, the cake that went in the garbage, the blisters, the broken toenails, the stress fractures, the self-loathing, the negative self-talk, the imposter syndrome, and the crushing belief that if you don't achieve this mysterious perfection that no one can define, not even you, you will also be cast out into the unknown, just like the girl you replaced. What can make perfectionism even more complicated is that people love perfectionists. Even if on the inside a perfectionist feels like a hot mess, externally perfectionists tend to be some of the most reliable, hardworking, and caring people around. They never forget important birthdays or events, will be the first to jump in and help anywhere and everywhere help is needed, and are extremely on time for lunch dates. And now we're going to take a quick break with a message from our sponsors. It's me. I'm our sponsors. On December 18th, I'm hosting Winter Solstice Enchanted Eve. This will be a cozy online evening of ritual, tarot, and collective dreaming for the winter solstice. Set aside some time at this magical moment in the wheel of the year as we travel into the psyche with tarot, dream journeying, and intention setting for the coming winter months. Get your ticket at the link below. Hope you join me. Perfectionists are not just functioning at very high levels. They are in the Olympics of over-functioning. While perfectionists appear to have every I dotted and every T crossed, behind the facade of perfection lie nagging feelings of anxiety, depression, low self-esteem, and a feeling of never being good enough. In their eternal desire to seem perfect to the outside world, perfectionists rarely share that inside, where no one can see, they feel like the conductor of the Hot Mess Express. No one must know this, because voicing their true feelings would shatter the illusion that they are not, in fact, Wonder Woman, and are indeed the conductor of the Hot Mess Express. This can keep a lot of relationships in the perfectionist life surface level, depriving both the perfectionist and their loved ones of the authentic experience of a truer, more authentic relationship, while simultaneously reinforcing the belief that struggling is something to be ashamed of and that no one cares to hear about, and that it's best to just shut up about it and slap a smile on your face while you're at it. The anxiety associated with constantly trying to achieve an unachievable ideal is relentless, sort of like the number of paintings Nina's mother has of her in her studio. Perfectionist anxiety is often nonspecific and unnameable, but it kind of feels like there's an evil, misogynistic ballet choreographer after you, and like he's some kind of metaphor for the unrelenting pressure that society places on women, and that you now place on yourself. Except you don't know exactly what he's going to expect from you one day to the next, because his expectations just get higher and more cruel and unreasonable. And your only defense is to keep pirouetting and to keep jetéing and keep pas de deux until you either become perfect or something else happens, like a psychotic break in Nina's case. Nina and Lily's relationship is really interesting in Black Swan. The movie is told through Nina's perspective, and as the film progresses, she descends further and further into psychosis. Because we are experiencing Lily through Nina, we can't actually be certain that Lily is the way we see her. This is a movie about the inner psyche of a dancer pushed to the brink, and we can only view Lily as a projected part of Nina's very own psyche. Lily is the wild, outgoing, dangerous, sexy Black Swan that Nina longs to be, and by projecting this fantasy onto Lily, she is able to get closer to it. Throughout the movie, Lily's face even switches with Nina's own at times, demonstrating Nina's desire to become this idealized woman she has created outside of herself. In Nina's mind, Lily is perfect as the Black Swan. There is a jealousy between them, as Nina wishes she could be more like her. Nina's projections onto Lily mean that Lily doesn't seem to have any insecurities. She is always confident, headstrong, and powerful. We all do this when we're insecure. We imagine that the person next to us has it all together, that they know what they're doing, that they don't feel the same self-doubt that we do, and we think, why can't I be like her? While Nina imagines Lily to be the perfect Black Swan, I bet in real life Lily's tights are riding up her butt, her nail polish is chipped, and she's self-conscious about her turnout. She's not perfect either. She's only human too. Perfectionism is psychodynamic in nature, meaning that it evolves out of a combination of external and internal psychological forces, usually with roots in early childhood experience, and it influences patterns of behavior and thought that might not be immediately obvious. Of course, Nina's environment fuels her perfectionist tendencies. Ballet is a sport of trying to achieve perfection and making it look as effortless as possible. This is common for many elite athletes, and ballet is especially notorious for this. It's not a coincidence that a movie exploring the horrors of perfectionism is also about ballet, an art form and sport typically associated with femininity. Some might say that ballet itself, or at least in Black Swan, the whole thing is a giant metaphor for the impossible dance of being a woman. The artistic director, Thomas, seems to feed off the insecurities and pain of his female dancers, and his abusive tactics towards Nina in particular cannot be denied as driving her further and further into a fragile psychological state. There are so many scenes where he is really inappropriate and abusive towards Nina, asking her questions about her sex life, and even touching her inappropriately in several scenes that positively make my skin crawl. Nina begins developing a complicated relationship with this abuse, which is of course by design. Abusers want to psychologically diminish their victims, making them easy to manipulate and control. There is a part of her that is repulsed by this man, and yet another part of her, the perfectionist part, that wants so badly to embody the Black Swan archetype that she tells herself it's all okay. This is what great men do to inspire excellence in women, right? They whittle them down until there's nothing left, right? Ugh, gross. The story of Swan Lake and a role that requires her to be both pure and innocent while also dangerous and sexy demonstrates the impossible double standards women face. Nina is childlike and innocent, and maybe this is on purpose in an industry that discards women at the ripe age of, say, 30, such as we witnessed with her idol, Beth McIntyre. When she does embody more of the Black Swan archetype in an attempt to perfectly fulfill the dual role she must play, Nina is branded a whore. Or at least her dressing room mirror is with red lipstick. She can't win. In a scene where Tomas forces a kiss on her in his office, he tells Nina that perfection is about losing control. Well, you know what, Tomas? That's a really horrible thing to say because Nina was so perfect in the end that she died. She died. She lost control so much that she literally died. In the final scene, after Nina performs Swan Lake beautifully and has worked herself so hard that she has developed psychosis, aka girlfriend was having visual and auditory hallucinations, she kicked the bucket. Nina was so perfect that she became the Black Swan. That was her peak performance. She was perfect for the external audience watching her, but not for herself. Perfectionism gets defined in a situational context. At school, it may mean making the honor roll. For the women in the ballet world portrayed in Black Swan, it means being young forever. All the women in the movie are aware of this impossible standard as well, as they jockey for position and project jealousy and disdain towards those who have come after them. Nina's mother, a former dancer, is obsessed with Nina and her dance career, attempting to continue to live her life as a dancer through her daughter. Nina and Lily are competition to each other, with Nina constantly feeling like Lily is right on her toes, ready to take her role from her. Beth, the former prima ballerina who was unceremoniously ousted from the company for being over the hill, seethes with rage that she has been cast out. She serves as a warning to the younger dancers, and Nina in particular, that they too will face Tomas's advances, that they will be asked to give every ounce of their being to the company, and then one day when they are deemed too old, they will be easily replaced by the next girl in line. Beth's own descent into madness is a warning to Nina in particular. Once you have given everything, no one will care that you have nothing left because you're a woman of a certain age and now you're nothing to them. Ouch. This echoes the experience of perfectionism where it often looks good on the outside or serves the superficial needs of an outside audience, but internally, for the person who is actually having the experience, it is tearing them apart. And in the case of Winona Ryder's face, literally tearing her apart. Fun fact, when I saw Black Swan in the theater when it came out, I was waiting in line for the show while the showing ahead of me was finishing. At one point, a couple stormed out of the theater in disgust, shaking their heads, saying, "That is just so wrong." I was immediately enthralled and couldn't wait to find out which scene made them storm out. When I saw the scene where Winona Ryder stabs herself in the face with a nail file, I knew that was when the couple left. A tarot card I associate with Black Swan is the Ten of Wands. The person in the card is carrying a beautiful, large bundle of wands, and it looks quite impressive. At least, that's how it looks on the outside. To the observer, we see them carrying this lovely bundle of wands. We might remark on how strong they are to be able to carry this whole thing on their own and travel a large distance on their own with this bundle. But in peeking behind what is immediately observable to the outsider, we see that this person really seems to be struggling. Their back looks like it hurts, and I get the sense that they either want to put the bundle down and ask for help, but maybe don't know how or feel that they can't. Perfectionism blinds and cuts off connection. The person's view into the city where the people are is completely blocked by the bundle that they have decided they need to carry. No one can truly see them struggling. They can't see their humanity, and nobody can offer their help. The person can't see where they're going either. They're blinded by this idea that they need to be perfect and carry this huge weight all on their own and appear a certain way, but it's really hurting them. This makes me think about how much Nina suffers in her impossible pursuit of perfection. The body horror portrayed throughout the movie, the cracking bones, peeling skin, sharp quills, gives us a visceral sense of what it feels like to be Nina, and we also experience her mental decline in trying to reach an unattainable ideal. Perfection is an illusory concept. It doesn't actually exist. Like a comfortable underwire bra, it's not real. It's an imaginary ideal that presents itself like the resolution to all our shame. If I can just achieve this, I'll be better. If I can just do that, I'll be loved. It's not real. As soon as you think you've arrived, it disappears like a mirage. Perfection, like life, is not found in a destination. Life has no destination, it's entirely journey. I hate to break it to you, but the only destination in life is the grave, and rushing through life trying to find nirvana is sure to make all of life's beautiful, messy, glorious moments whip by at breakneck speed, guaranteeing that you miss all the good stuff. Nina shows this exact paradigm in Black Swan. She does actually achieve perfection. She says so herself at the end of her performance, before she bleeds to death. I wonder if it was worth it for her. I wonder what happens in the scene just after Nina dies. You know, I'm sure she is immortalized in the ballet world, canonized as a legend. But again, she is just food for her audience. They'll eat her story up, the most perfect ballerina, but she'll never get the chance to find out what exists outside of life beyond the harsh spotlight of expectation. R.I.P. Nina. That, my ghouls, is the story of Black Swan. I don't know about you, but when I was recording this, I felt the need to totally lean into my non-perfectionist side, and for the rest of the day, I'm just gonna have horrible posture, and I'm just gonna fart, and just be a total slob. Yeah, that might feel good. Mental Health is Horrifying is entirely researched, written, edited, and produced by me, Candace Green, registered and spooky psychotherapist. If you like this podcast, please consider rating and reviewing on your preferred listening platform. It really helps the show to reach all the other spooky ghouls out there, and I will be eternally grateful. And an eternity is a very long time for a vampire, okay? If you live in Ontario and are interested in psychotherapy with me, I offer therapy for final girls who want to make sense out of the guts of their lives. I specialize in grief and trauma and incorporate both tarot and dream work into my practice as tools to delve deeper into fields of psychic terrain. You can follow me on Instagram at Mental Health is Horrifying, and you can also learn more about me and my services through my website, manymoonstherapy.com. Or you can also howl at the moon and I will hear your call. Bright blessings.